used to say that? Alrighty. My granddad, maybe. My granddad, I'm pretty sure he said it. It may have been others, older uncles. It may have been something that everyone said. I know I remember my granddad saying, alrighty. But we're here. It is Friday, March the 6th, 2026, and we're excited to be here. We have been at this all week, and we're thankful for those that have been here. There's a few that have been here a number of times. We need to look back and see who all has participated over the course of this week. This is episode 99 of Accelerating Your Journey. This is a consciousness ascending presentation. My name is Benny Ferguson. I am a channel. I have been channeling for over a decade now. I have supported individuals from around the world. It's amazing to think about it. And we still haven't done enough. We still haven't affected enough. We still haven't influenced enough. We still haven't supported enough from our perspective. We love each of you and excited for those of you who are aware that you're on a journey of enlightenment, for those of you who know that you are on a path of growth and expansion, and it is our goal to support you in really understanding what that means to your foundation, to your core, so that you can begin to accelerate the process. And the process can be accelerated. The process can be sped up, if you will, if you're working in the right place, doing the right things, attending to the right areas of your being. The process of your growth and expansion can be accelerated. And that's basically what we're going to talk about today, is how to do that, how to move out of the highs and lows of the low vibrational loops, how to move out of the highs and lows of good days, bad days, good times, not so great times, going in and out of the memory and the effect and the constant reoccurrence of the idea of your traumas and dramas that occurred when you were children and that have continued to appear as experience. Getting out of those realms and beginning from the right perspective, from the right interpretation of events, from the truth of you in source, that state of being, beginning to move from breakthrough to breakthrough in your life. That's the goal. So, if you're new, be sure to subscribe. If you find value in this interaction, be sure to subscribe, connect with us so that you're alerted when new content is uploaded, so that you are aware when we are going live. And it is our goal to go live with a level of frequency each week to give you a glimpse of what it would be like to work with us even on an even closer basis. Benny created the Ascension Accelerator, which is a private community specifically for those of you who know you're on a journey of enlightenment. Those who are closest to us at this moment have been at this game for a long time. They have basically heard it all, but they came to us not having connected all of the dots, right? Because they basically weren't working at their foundation. When you begin to work at your foundation, you begin to see what the techniques and the processes and the meditations, what they're affecting about your state of being. And when you understand the why, then it stops being so much about any specific technique or process. And what you begin to do is you begin to move into those practices that are necessary specifically for you based on your inspiration, and not in hopes of it being the one silver bullet, the one secret key. So each one that we work closely with at the moment have been at this game for a long time. They've heard it all basically before, but they have not yet put all of the pieces together. They didn't have a community support that they could interact with, share with their highs and their lows, be reminded and directed back to their foundation to get unstuck very, very quickly so that they can move with a level of speed down the path. They didn't have consistent guidance that they can access. That's why the private community, the Ascension Accelerator, was created. If you look in the description, you can find the link to get more information on that. If that is you, there is also a free gift, a reality shift checklist that points you to your foundation, offers you specific steps, 4 specific steps to beginning to work at your foundation in a way that will allow you to directly begin to affect whatever it is you're trying to transform, whether you're trying to transform an experience or you're trying to transform a state of being, that so that you are more in alignment with that which you are intending. The reality shift checklist will do that. And when you access that, you will get access also to videos that we created, supporting videos, a video for each step that dives deeper into the concept so that you can have even more information, more understanding as you begin to engage in that. And if you do, if you engage in that process, if you engage in that checklist and you come across bumps in the road, which you will, and you have questions as you begin to play and practice, which you will, just reply to the email and we will respond to you as soon as we can and be as much of a support as we can if you have actually began to play and practice with that checklist. We're excited. We're excited again for those of you who are here now in support of us in the creation of this interaction. We're excited for those of you who have found this recorded and allowed us to be of support in that manner. Hang on to the end. At the end, we will open the chat up for any ideas, any new ideas that you were inspired to, any questions or comments that you might have based on the information that was shared or that you were inspired to that may not seem like they connect with anything that was shared, but they do. And we have one more thing. We held our question and answer with the individuals in the Ascension Accelerator last night, and then we were reminded of something that we haven't shared with you guys. As we communicate this information, during the process, you will be tuning to our frequency. And as that begins to happen, it's not so much about what we share, but about what bubbles up inside of you during the course of our sharing. What bubbles up inside of you during the course of our sharing is what you need to pay attention to at this moment that's most important for you. So as you are listening, in your hearing, in your paying attention to what we are sharing, be even more aware of what is bubbling up inside of you based on what we are sharing. And make sure you write that down, because what's happening is our communication is touching those areas or things that are most high for you to pay attention to at this moment based on your intentions at this moment. We'll restate just a little bit of that. It's more important that you pay attention to what bubbles up inside of you, what is triggered inside of you based on our offering. That's more important than all of the details of our offering. So pay attention to what comes up inside of you during this interaction. You may have to sit with that information for a while, what comes up inside of you. You may have to sit with it for a while to uncover why it's important for you at this moment. If you have questions about that already, be sure to place those in the chat. We'll make our offering based on that which has shown up for you during this interaction. If you do not have any questions, just make sure you catch them. That's one of the things that occurs during the question and answer. In a collaborative effort to share and communicate and to interact, individuals have ideas bubble up inside of them based on this person's experience, that person's experience, based on something that we're sharing. And then they have that in front of them to begin to play and practice with to transform, to ask questions around based on what's happening now. That's basically how the conversations go. And that's what speeds up the process, because you're in an environment that pulls the conflict, that pulls the conditioning forward, so that you're aware of it, so that you can begin to play and practice with it, to transform it, to release yourself from those masks of fear that stand between you, that are creating space between you and your intentions. And yes, that's something that's happening, that happens in these interactions as well. You have to be aware of it. And again, those are more important to catch than every detail of what we communicate. Awesome. Awesome. So let's get started again. Hello, everyone. Hey, Kristen. Hello, hello. Oliver Salas, if that's right, we love you. Glad you're here. That's a new name. Glad you're here. Awesome, awesome. This is episode 99 of what we're calling Accelerate Your Journey. And today we're talking about an inspired life is the cleanest life. And if you remember, we've kind of been talking about the effects and the beauty and the power of living inspired over the course of this week. An inspired life is the cleanest life, is living breakthrough after breakthrough possible? That's the question. Conscious creators. Yes, it is possible to live a life, to go about this path of growth and expansion, which is the same path, this journey of enlightenment that you are on, that you're now aware of. It is possible to move from breakthrough to breakthrough. And it's not this, it's this. Breakthrough to breakthrough. Because in between each breakthrough, you are growing, you are expanding, but it requires understanding. It requires working at your foundation. It requires having a knowledge base of the why of things. These are things that we've kind of mentioned already. It requires an understanding of the why of things, which you gather when you're working at your foundation. What's the foundation? Let's go over that again. The contents of your mind, your mental framework, and your vibrational expression. If you're affecting those two things, that's how you speed up the process. Because that's the foundation of you on this plane of existence at this moment. Now, when you begin to place your foundation and you understand why it's important to reach for the highest vibration that you can in the moment, why it's important to offer the highest intention, have the highest intention as a mental image for your mind's eye to focus on in any and every present moment. These are important because they pull you into those states of being. They alert you to the thought patterns required to be that person. They alert you to how you must feel in conjunction with the thought patterns to be that person. And that is what creates the shift. That is what commands the shift. And when you understand that, and you're consistently playing and practicing to be that, what happens? Well, number one, any conflict to that, any resistance to that, any conditioning or programming that opposes that reveals itself. It has to. It doesn't just disappear and go away. It reveals itself, and you have to play and practice to release that. We've mentioned ways to do that before. This is the root basis of the conversations that we have in the Accelerator. As you begin to release, your vibration becomes more consistent at a higher level. The more you release those ideas that you were once unaware of, that you're now becoming more and more aware of because of the high vibrational intention and your play and practice to be that person in the moment. As you release those faces of fear, as you release the conditioning and the programming, your vibration rises and becomes elevated naturally, organically, as a result of the process. And the more consistent you are at a higher frequency vibrational offering, the information, the wisdom, the knowledge based in that frequency begins to make its way to you. And in that, your perspective changes. How you view yourself and how you view life and its events and its experiences and how they manifest in front of you, it begins to change. The air gets cleaner. Your breathing gets freer because you understand more and because you see the potentials more than you see the barriers. You see the possibilities more clearly. And you understand that if you continue along this path of elevation, the wider, the broader, and the brighter you become. Because you've already seen glimpses of it now that you have a higher perspective. It only continues to expand. You don't get glimpses of the effect on your life of a higher version of you and then you fall backwards. It doesn't happen that way. Once you achieve a higher vibrational position of self, you become rooted in that position. And that is a breakthrough. And the only person that knows is you. The only person that knows that you are seeing differently, that you are hearing differently, that you are perceiving differently, that you are interpreting differently is you. And when that happens, that is a breakthrough. And you can begin to move from breakthrough to breakthrough, from peak to peak, if you will. Constantly increasing your acceptance of you, constantly increasing your acknowledgement of your potential, constantly increasing of the love that you hold for yourself, constantly increasing your value position. From our perspective, the capacity that you have to engage in and participate in life as it is. Capacity meaning you can hold more things. You can hold more people in your frame as potential without feeling weighted, without feeling heavy. You understand that everything is energy. You understand that you are the source of your verse. You understand that there's nothing above you, nothing below you. There's no responsibility that you have toward anything outside of you, and that you just take your time and move meticulously and joyously into those things and through those things that you intend and that you desire in the highest. And in so doing that selfishly for yourself, you are of the highest benefit to everything and everyone you come in contact with. And the more you see that for yourself, the more powerful you become, the more freer you are inwardly, and the more cleaner you move through life. And the more excited you get for the next peak, for the next breakthrough. The more excited you get for the resistance being revealed. You're excited for the resistance, to see the conditioning, to see the programming. You're not frustrated. You're not angry. You're not mad at yourself. You're not still angry with your parents for what they did or didn't do, who they were or they weren't. You're excited about who you're becoming. And the release of that resistance is what allows you to launch forward. The greater the pain, the greater the distance you will catapult forward into strength and potential. Do you understand? The greater the pain that you are holding at this moment, not seeking it out, creating it, but that you're already holding, the greater the pain that you perceive from the trauma or drama or hurt or the love that you didn't receive that they weren't capable of giving, your parents, all of the things, the discord that was in the home or that you experienced as a child, all of the things that you have been carrying, the intensity and the degree, the heat, the energy that they hold, to that same degree, as you release, as you understand, perceive and interpret those events from a higher perspective, and then release those ideas and the energy and the emotion tied to them to the same degree that they are strong and present now within your mind and body, to that same degree and beyond, the release of them allows you to launch forward into greater personal power. You have to understand that. These are critical points for the individual desiring to be a powerful, conscious creator, to understand their truth, to know their truth in source, and begin to live from that space now as they walk physically. These are things you have to understand. And this is what's missing. The next, that which you have not experienced, you have no clue of. So why am I doing this? Why is it important that I understand the trauma? I don't want to go there. I don't want to go back and consider and think about that sexual trauma, that violence that was in the home, those things that happened. I don't want to revisit those things. We understand that. But understand that there's a way to do it. And understand too that you can't escape it. Understand, whether you're aware of it or not, that the trauma and the drama that you experience that have lodged as ideas within your mind and body have continued to appear with a level of frequency in your life that have caused you, and those experiences have caused you to feel the exact same way that you felt in the initial. Because those ideas are resonating. They are a part of your energy signature, and they are resonating quietly, silently, below your conscious awareness, and yet consistently creating unto themselves experiences that cause you to remember, re-put together the events so that you feel in similar fashion. It's a loop. It's a loop. And the why of this interaction at this moment is for you to understand that the degree of strength and energy and power and force that these ideas have and are present within you now, to that same degree, when understood and released from a high frequency perspective, launch you forward into greater possibility, potential, and personal power. And as you play and practice with these ideas, as you begin to see for yourself the effect and impact of these ideas, you will be more and more excited to move from breakthrough to breakthrough. Once you see, feel, and understand what it looks like, what it feels like, how it happened, and the effect of who you have become as a result of, you get more and more excited. Now, does that mean that you don't fall into being stuck every now and then? No, it doesn't mean that. You will. Why? Because you have intentions that you're wanting to hurry up, just as Benny does, and he has to catch himself. You have ideas that you have been wanting and trying to manifest for years. And it will take time to release that high level of expectation where you're actually intending unbeknownst to you, you're actually intending the absence of the thing versus the presence of the thing. These are little details that you have to figure out along the way that can cause you to get stuck for a brief period of time. But the more you play and practice, the more you will see it, the quicker you can move out of those sticky moments, and the more you can stay consistently on the path of growth and expansion, excited for the resistance, excited for the revealing of the conditioning and the programming and the many masks of fear that are currently housed within your mind and body, because you can't release them. You can't transform those ideas. You can't recreate yourself until you're aware of what's there. Break through the breakthrough. That's the position that you're seeking. Higher vibrational perspective held with consistency. That's where you are moving toward. Just as going to the gym, you're building the muscle. You're playing in practice. You're building the muscle, holding a higher vibrational state. However you create it, you're building the muscle. You're reconditioning yourself. That's what you're doing. And the longer you stay the course, the more you will realize the fruit of that effort, of that play and practice. And as best we can, we want to make you aware of what you are looking for as a result of your play and practice. That's the challenging part, not knowing what's coming next. So you're kind of operating blind and just hoping, right? Not knowing what's coming next. That's another point of the accelerator. So allowing people to know what's next, then they know what to look for, and now they're playing and practicing, they're doing things, and they know what they're looking for. Well, when you do this, you're going to start to see that. Look for it. When you do this, you're going to start to see that. Look for it. Benny has never been a numbers person. Numbers meaning there's information about individuals seeing fours, the number four, or the number four happening in their experience, and these type things. And that's never been part of his experience. But here recently, in the past few weeks, he's been aware of twos happening all around him. Not just the number two, actually, as he thinks about it. He hasn't had the number two, but events have happened in twos. And it's been going on consistently for a number of weeks now. And the information around that is it's not about some grand event that's about to happen for him. It's not about some grand unfolding that's about to happen for him. It's about the awareness of the synchronicities. It's about the awareness of alignment, being in harmony, being in sync. It's the result of consistent frequency offering. And he thought about it. He asked the question in the Q&A for the Accelerator last night. Is it possible that these have been happening all along? I just wasn't aware of it. And the answer is most likely yes. But these are one of the things that you are open up to as you move along this path. Now, are the twos happening of great significance? Not really. But the true understanding of it is the power of alignment, the power of being in harmony with a level of frequency, the power of being in sync based on a level of frequency, and what that frequency aligns you with. The awareness expansion that results from being in alignment with a level of frequency. and understanding how beautiful can make its way to you as experience without any effort other than playing and practicing to maintain a higher vibration consistently. How it allows excellence into your experience. How it allows abundance more and more into your experience. All of the things that you desire, being in harmony with them is the key. And you become more and more in alignment with that which you desire by approaching your truth in source more and more. And that's what you're doing along this path as you play and practice along this path of growth and expansion. And it happens organically as you release the conditioning, as you release the programming, as you release the fear. This is where you're going. This is where you're going. And we're excited for you. We're excited for you. We're excited to be here now and to be able to be at least this level of support. We're excited for those of you who will be inspired to and make the decision to draw closer to us so that we can support you in accelerating this process, speeding up the process. So at this moment, we will take a few moments to open the chat up if you were inspired to an idea that you would like discussed. If you have any questions or comments based on the material that you would like to discuss, feel free to place those in the chat and we will take a few minutes on those. Okay. Let's see. Would you speak, please, about the quiet time after planting seeds when nothing seems to be happening? Specifically, would you speak on how the manifestation is present in that soul with the seed? Well, the manifestation is the development of the seed, right? Your question and how you so eloquently put it is synonymous with you're planting a physical seed of a vegetable or a fruit or a tree or a grass. It's absolutely the same thing. And believe it or not, this was discussed last night. When you sow a seed, physical seed, if any of you grew up on a farm or had gardens or any of that thing, Benny grew up on a almost farm, meaning they had everything except for the big animals. He had uncles across the field with big animals for a small period of time, but they had everything else. But when you sow a kernel of corn or you sow seeds for any other type of vegetable, first of all, you put the seed in what you believe to be or what you have cultivated to be fertile ground, right? For each of you as individuals, that would be the releasing of fear. And many of those fears and those inconsistencies as it relates to alignment with your intentions being manifest, you may not be aware of them. You will become aware of them after you develop and sow the seed. So that's what you're looking for within yourself. I'm intending this type of position, this type of job for myself. Greater income, beautiful work environment, opportunity to elevate myself in that environment, all of the things, right? Once you set that intention and you sow that idea within yourself, sow it within yourself, because it's about you being the person once you have an idea, your next responsibility is to be the person who already is having the experience. So once you fathom the idea and you image the idea and you identify the feeling of the you that is already having the experience, Now what you're looking for is anything that bubbles up inside of you as you go about your day holding that image and feeling that feeling that is in conflict with it. So that you can release it, so that you can let it go, so that you're not resonating frequency that is in conflict, direct conflict with the frequencies of you being in the experience. That's what the intention is going to bring up. And this is synonymous with the weeds. When you sow that kernel of corn in the ground, and it is in fertile ground as far as you know, there are also weeds there that begin to come up as well. You have to pluck the weeds out of the ground. That's the fear. That's any conditioning or programming that stands in opposition to you having the $1 million, to you having that beautiful, intimate relationship. So you have your tools and you begin to remove the weeds. And you do it joyfully. You do it lovingly. You don't do it begrudgingly. But all the while, you haven't seen the kernel of corn. You haven't seen the sprout coming out of the ground. You mentioned the quiet time. You haven't seen the sprout coming out of the ground, but you know you sowed the seed. You know the seed is there. You know that if you dig the ground up in that exact spot that you'll find the seed. Right? And let's say you have it in a greenhouse where there's no birds to come and dig it up and eat the seed. So you have it in a greenhouse, so you're absolutely sure that the seed is there. Nothing is coming and removing your seeds, removing your intentions from your mind and body. There's nothing that's going to come and take that, and you've been looking for this manifestation, but something came and stole the seed, the intention, and you didn't know it. That's not happening, right? Once you develop that energy structure, it exists. You're constantly developing and expressing energy structures all the time. Things you don't want and things you do want. Those that you don't resist become experience. Sometimes you're resisting that which you want. Sometimes you start thinking in a positive manner and you resist ideas that you have sown that you don't want, and they cancel themselves out. But those that you don't resist, or those that are really, really strong and have really strong emotion tied to them, those are the ones that materialize. Now, the reason you're asking that question is because you have ideas that you have sown that you really, really desire. Possibly that you feel like you really, really need. And that's the problem. Anything you feel like you really, really need, at your core, you're most likely offering the absence of the thing, which is why you really, really feel you need it. And that's the conundrum. That's where the fear is. That's where the misunderstanding is. And that is what needs to be reconciled and released, because that idea of not having a thing that you feel like you really, really need feels a certain way. And if you look, you know exactly what it feels like. And if you're offering that feeling and you're entertaining that idea, or you're intending this beautiful thing because you don't have it, the dominant expression is that you don't have it, and you're more often feeling the feeling of not having it than you are feeling the feeling of being in that experience. And guess which one you are creating? You already know. And these are the details. These are the beautiful details that you come in contact with as you walk this path. And the more you work these details out for yourself as an individual, the clearer you get, the cleaner you get in your expression, the more clearly you begin to see, wow, this thing that I don't really care about, that it doesn't matter whether I have it or not at this moment. I remember thinking about it a week ago, and it has manifested. It's materialized. It came through my sister. It came through a stranger. It came through my son or daughter. It materialized. A stranger just walked up and offered me this thing, asked me if I needed it, and it's exactly what I intended, briefly, lightly, softly, without any real care. Right? It's not a big deal. Matter of fact, we were talking about this last night, and one of our members said that she lightly because it's really, really cold where she is. Really, really cold. They have long winters. And she talked about and discussed that we're talking about manifestation, and we're whittling down on the process and how important it is after you intend and you have the image and you know the feeling and all these things, that as far as an individual, you are light around the idea and not heavy. But because of where she is and it's cold, really, really cold, she said that she ran out of lip balm. And she said she knows and remembers, she briefly thought to herself, I need to stop and get some lip balm. I need to stop and get some because I'm out. Just lightly, just briefly, just whatever, right? And we're not sure if it was the next day or the day after, but it was a really short time frame. Her daughter shows up. She has older daughters, 20s. Her daughter shows up, says, hey, Mom, I've got this package of 2 lip balms that I don't need. Do you want them? So they showed up in an abundant state, 2, not 1. Right? And they were like extra size, extra large or whatever. Light. Free. No real need. Right? It wasn't imperative. It wasn't important. It wasn't heavy. 2 to 3 days, it showed up through her daughter. But that's not the point. It could have came from any direction, from any space, in the most unexpected manner. It's about who she was when she sowed the idea. It's about who she was when she created that energy structure for herself. That's the point. That's the key. Let us know if that helped. Anyone else? Let's see. Because I have no resistance in it, I have been able to do this for others with great ease. Gave me the exact missing piece for my own release of resistance. We keep pulling things. Absolutely. 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 It's the details. There's little bitty details that we have to, and it's very easy. It's tricky. It's delicate. When you look at yourself and you see, wow, it's crazy how I am able to and I see myself materializing things over here, but I have yet to materialize this thing over here that I have been wanting, needing for years, right? Each one has those ideas. And it's about linking the process. What's the process? Not the thing, but what's the process? What's the process? Who are you being? Who are you being in this circumstance that you're not being in this circumstance? You have your intention. You have the image. You know what it feels like to have the experience, but if it hasn't materialized as your physical experience, then there's something else present that is in conflict with your intention, that is strong, that is more dominant than your intention. And so you got to look for it. You got to find it. But guess what? What you may not be seeing are the thoughts. Because when you have the intention, the thoughts of that which is in opposition to it begin to present itself. You just have to look for them. When you have an intention, if there's high emotion attached to an idea that is in conflict with that intention, that emotion will show up in your body somewhere. You just have to look for it and be aware of it. It may be weight on your shoulders. It may be over your heart, a love idea. It may be off to the center and have to do with insecurity or some form or fashion. It may be a deeper survival type of idea that appears in your gut area. But the emotion shows up in the body. The thoughts that are synonymous with the dominant idea show up in the mind. You have to be sensitive and aware of any conflict that shows up, any resistance that shows up in relationship to that specific idea. Now, your idea about money, your idea about relationship, they're two different things, and they will have different sets of ideas attached to them. There are many, many, many compartments as it relates to you and your intentions. When you set an intention for this, it may be easy and light. But when you set an intention for that, it may be heavy and dark. You have to be aware and then look for the evidence of the resistance that needs to be released so that you can be light, free, and clear for your intentions. So that those energy structure seeds can grow effortlessly on their own without your effort, so that they can grow effortlessly free of any weeds that are using up the resources. Right? The individual in the group who sowed the seed of lip balm, there was no resistance there. There was no weeds. And so that idea materialized very, very quickly. And that's the potential that exists when you are free, when you are clear in mind, in body, and in vibrational expression. All of this leading you back to the truth of you in source. The truth of you in source, there is no resistance. The truth of you in source, there's no programming. There's no conditioning. There's no trauma. There's no effects of trauma. You are free, you are clear, you are empty, and you're able to live life with that perspective and that interpretation and that strength and that lightning expression of vibration and frequency. That's where you're working your way back to. And understand that in that frequency and with that understanding and that lightness and that clarity, you are always in alignment with the highest of intentions even before you intended. In that state of being, you are always in alignment with the highest of intentions even before you intend them. And that's what you're working your way back to. Just as a FYI. Anything else? Christian, thank you for that. Those questions and that interaction. Powerful. We hope we were of support to you, and we know that this interaction will be of support to others who find this recording and this interaction. Thank you. Anyone else? On this Friday. Excellent. Excellent. All right. So, again, we are thankful. Grateful for those of you who have supported the creation of this interaction. We're thankful for those of you who have found this recording, watched it all the way through, and allowed us to be of support in that manner. We love you very much. We hope you are intending your weekend in the highest. We hope you are intending every present moment in the highest and watching for the immediate manifestation of that intention. We love you. We love you. We love you. We'll talk to you soon.